Alright, so here's our blowback chamber for the Glock 26 or Glock 18C from WE. And when most of these pistols are failing, what's happening is someone will be shooting it, and all of a sudden, the loading nozzle just basically gets stuck in the fully extended position inside the gun. And of course won't load, it won't cycle properly, because what's happened is that the tab right here, this little nub on the blowback cylinder, has broken off. When that tab shears off, it no longer allows this spring and pin to input any force onto this loading nozzle, so that it does not return to the fully seated position within the blowback housing. Which means you're not cycling the gun properly, you're probably not loading BBs, and if you are managing to get gas out of it, you're just spewing it everywhere. It is a bit of a design flaw on their end. I think when they copied the Tokyo Marui design, they got these specifications for how much spring tension the spring is supposed to provide and how long this pin is supposed to be. Because this pin right here is basically the source of all the trouble. This pin just acts as a guide rod for the spring to keep it from kinking. And even in some airsoft pistols, they don't have this guide rod spring within the blowback housing. But for our purposes, you are going to need it. Because what you're going to do to this pin here is to take 1 or 2 millimeters off of it, make it shorter. Basically, so there's a very wide end, and then there's, the skinny end. You want to take material off of the skinny end, maybe 1 or 2 millimeters down off the shaft of the skinny end of the pin, and then bevel it off like it was when it came out of the pistol in the first place. It'll have a bevel on it. So basically what happens is that the spring can fully compress now, but the pin does not protrude from the coiled spring. So that if the gun gets into a situation where the spring is fully compressed, instead of the pin slamming into this nub and shearing it off, the pin and spring will be hitting it at once, which will distribute the load a little bit better and keep you from shearing off that nub, making you need another loading nozzle. And actually, from when I first got this pistol, I put 3 mags through it. I took it apart and already noticed that there was some denting from the pin on the nub on my blowback cylinder. So I went ahead and performed the change even before I broke a loading nozzle, and now I'm probably 600 or 700 rounds down the road with a lot of full auto fire, and I have not seen any more damage or wear on this loading nozzle itself. And I routinely dump 50 round stick magazines through it, which you're probably not supposed to. So just take 1 or 2 millimeters off of this pin, bevel it out, put it back together, and it should cycle fine, and you should not have any issues with it. And then if you do, and you've sheared off this nub, that means you need to shorten this pin some more. It's kind of trial and error. Another solution, disregarding the pin, is to get a stronger blowback housing spring thing. This spring here, I know some companies make upgraded springs. A stronger one will stop that completely, because if the spring is strong enough to overcome the friction of the blowback cylinder sitting on the magazine gasket and in the hop-up chamber, so it pulls out every time, you will never have a situation where this pin will impact that nub. So I hope that helped, and well, yeah, that's pretty much it.